afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here. My name is Kartika Alexandra, and I'm the founder and director of a healing and wellness space in Umalas, Kerobokan in Bali. Over there, we work with clients all across Indonesia and the world, online and in person. And we work with them to help them overcome daily struggles, difficult struggles, and we work via the body, the mind, or the energy. At Maja Healing, we also have programs that are there to help those who can't match maybe any fees, who can't get the care they need, and we call this Maja Care. We give them support one-on-one. We also provide community service, bringing together groups of people in things that we do as groups in organizations such as Lighthouse and Nirvana. We also have cancer care community for those who are affected by cancer. Now, I am Indonesian. My mother is from Sumatra, she's Batak, and my father is Canadian. I grew up around the world as well. Nairobi, Tokyo, Jakarta, Vancouver. And as I grew up around the world, speaking many different languages, I was exposed to so many ways people were living their life. And I was so curious, how come the struggles were so similar across all these different cultures and countries? And also, how come were they so different in each culture, in each country? I also was curious, what makes us us? What makes life difficult? And also, how can I better enjoy life? So I completed my psychology degree in UBC in Vancouver, Canada, but then I discovered the subconscious unconscious. And since then, for over 10 years, I've been working in the subconscious unconscious with clients all around the world, including Indonesia. So today, in honor of Beautiverse, here an event to empower inner beauty and to celebrate outer glow, I will be merging my decade-long experience in hypnotherapy and subconscious unconscious work with science to give you a better understanding of what beauty is, what the difference is between inner beauty and outer beauty, what you can do to enhance inner beauty and outer beauty, and also why, if you haven't yet invested in your own inner beauty, you will find that the more you invest in it, you will feel beautiful more than your mind can even comprehend and imagine now. You will see how being beautiful is actually not just enough. Feeling beautiful is going to be the key to what makes your beauty real, magnetic, and alive. So let's get started. The first question I have for you is, do you know what beauty even stands for? What it means? Beauty comes from the French word beauté. That comes from the Latin word bellus. Bellus comes from the word good. It comes from the root meaning good, pleasant, charming. So beauty is something inherently good. This is really the root of what beauty means. In science, we study this in a way to see how we feel, evoking positive feelings when we look at something beautiful. And why would that be the case? So, usually in nature, it involves harmony, symmetry, meaning. Well, what does this mean for humans? Let's look at what outer beauty means. As you can see, there's many different booths here that will help you actually look more beautiful too. In science, we can see across the world what is rated as attractive. Always, it has been found that facial symmetry matters. The more symmetrical your face is, the more highly rated you are as attractive and beautiful. Your skin quality matters. The ratios in your face matters, and in your body proportion matters. This is for men and women. Also, for men, the proportions from your shoulders to your hips, and for women, the waist to the hips. These are all things that we inherently see as more attractive if the ratios are right. So what can you do to enhance your outer beauty? I think you may know a little bit about this already. You can increase the quality of your nutritional intake. Your skin will change. Your sleep will improve. Because sleep determines your hormones, determines what you eat, determines how you feel. So we really want to be looking at sleeping better. Also, you could actually enhance the way you take care of your skin, your lifestyle, the habits you have, exercising. These are all things that will actually make you look better. I think this is pretty straightforward. Or is it? Is it this straightforward that this is what makes us beautiful? If I show you this photo, you see her, and I tell you that this woman is warm, she's kind, she's emotionally available, she's honest. You are likely to rate her as more attractive than if I tell you that this woman is dishonest, if she's cruel, if she's aggressive. This is found across the world too, no matter if you're Asian or Western. The quality that you put out influences how someone perceives your attractiveness. Her face didn't change, just your perception of her changed. And this changed how you rated her as being attractive or not. Think about what that means. Another very interesting thing is that this word honesty premium became quite a focus in science because it turns out that honesty was so much more impactful for someone to be highly rated as attractive. They also test intelligence and independence. Which one is more impactful to be rated as more attractive? It turns out definitely honest. If you were highly honest, you were rated as more attractive. But if you had intelligence and independence, you were also a little bit more attractive. But just independent without intelligence, not as attractive. Without a doubt, honesty is key. So here, you can see that it's not just preference, it's not just ratios. It's how we feel about what we're seeing. It's our emotional relationship to what we're seeing. Warmth and charisma comes out when we are emitting things on the right side of the slide. Warmth, kindness, honesty. These are what comes out, and it makes your reward centers in the brain activate, and you feel that this person is more attractive. So let's dive a little bit deeper because we see that it's not just outer beauty anymore. So then, what is inner beauty? Here's a list of traits because it turns out in science, there is no defined sentence for what inner beauty is. But there are a set of characteristics and traits that will increase your inner beauty. This set of traits is not just one, it has to be a lot of them, are warmth and kindness. Because the warmth and kindness that you emit will actually activate the reward centers in someone else's brain, and they perceive you as more attractive. But also, we will see why warmth and kindness is something that makes you feel good about who you are. Authenticity is really important. This is hard. A lot of us struggle to be authentic because of social pressures, rejections. But when you have authenticity, you radiate a different type of energy. People say they can't describe it, it's a feeling. When you have inner beauty, you will also have more empathy and compassion. What is empathy? It's the ability to feel what someone else is feeling, or at least to comprehend it. It's not the same as compassion. Compassion is the willingness to go help somebody reduce their suffering. These are two different things. Emotional regulation. This is when your emotions do not control you. You have the ability to feel your emotions, anger, shame, sadness, failure, and you can manage them. This increases your inner beauty. Integrity and morality. Remember the definition of beauty? Good. Morally good person. And that you have values that you stand for. What we see is what we get. And the last two, social intelligence and agreeableness. These are intertwined. Social intelligence, how you relate to people. Do they like you? Do they not like you? Are you agreeable? Do you cooperate? This all affects your inner beauty. And you'd be like, wait, why? That's external relationships. But it also is because we're human beings that are social creatures. We don't exist in a vacuum. We exist because we are in relationship. So your inner beauty is influenced by how you relate with others. So far, where do you rate on this? Consider reflecting back on yourself. How would people rate you on this? And what can we do to actually enhance our inner beauty? That takes us down to the nervous system. This is your real mirror. What is your nervous system? If you don't know, it's made up of two parts. It's inside your body, your brain, your spinal cord, and the nerves moving around your body all around. This nervous system is picking up information all the time, even as you're sitting here. You're not realizing it, but it's picking up information from the people sitting next to you. There's plenty of science to show this. So you think it's just you and you're in control of what you're feeling, but your nervous system is picking up all the information of what everybody else is feeling too. About 2.5 meters around you. You are also putting out a lot of information. And the purpose of the nervous system is to make sure that you survive. So you're either going to be surviving, responding to stress, or relaxing and being calm. With this, when we look at why we need to know about the nervous system and how this impacts your life and your inner beauty and outer beauty, because it actually determines how you think, what you do, what you say, and how you feel. I'll say that again. It actually determines how you think, what you do, what you say, and how you feel. This is your nervous system, and it's unconscious. It will impact the way you relate and have your relationships, communication, how quickly you heal. It will impact how you feel day to day, how you sleep. So many layers. So with this, how does it impact your inner beauty? On the outside, if I'm dysregulated, which means I'm in stress, my nervous system will automatically, before I even consciously realize, tighten my jaw. My muscles will tense. My shoulders will go up, and the distance between my ears and my shoulders will reduce. I'll be feeling stressed and dysregulated. And it turns out, from science, I don't look so warm. I don't look so approachable. I don't look so safe. But if I'm regulated, the distance between my ears and my shoulders extend and expand out. My chest will open, my voice will deepen, and my smile will be more genuine, all because my nervous system is in a regulated state. And I will seem more warm and approachable. I'll feel better about myself, and you'll feel better about being with me, and we'll talk in a different way. Do you see how it influences so many layers? So that is on the outside. It affects how people view you. Know that this is perceived by you, and I perceive this looking at you unconsciously before I even see that your jaw is tight. I'm already picking up this information. It's here to help me survive. Am I safe with this person or not? But it also influences your authenticity and your presence. When you are regulated, your prefrontal cortex, this part of the brain, comes online. Empathy, presence, awareness. You can have this, but when you're dysregulated, it will go back to the ways that you use to survive, which are impulsive and reactive. You're not going to be as present. You're going to miss information. So people don't feel the same way around you then. And you don't feel like you're in control. It also influences how you feel in your environment and how others feel with you. Am I safe? Am I not safe? Dysregulated, you will not feel safe. There's nothing wrong, but you feel agitated, uncomfortable. And we will see in the next slide how chronic stress changes your inner beauty and especially your outer beauty. But if you're always anxious and there's nothing to be anxious about, think of what happens to your nervous system, to your body, to your inner traits of warmth and kindness. And last, but definitely not least, emotional regulation. I leave this for last because it's so important. When you are regulated, you will be able to have better emotional regulation. So if you feel angry, you feel sad, you feel like you failed, you will be better equipped and more able to manage dealing with those emotions so they don't control you and how you respond to them. This changes a lot. It makes you more resilient. But if you're dysregulated and you have strong emotions, they're more likely to take you over, and you will act out of anger. You will act out of shame. You will act out of pain. And we always know those consequences tend to be more negative. And so it's going to be really important to learn more about your nervous system if you haven't learned already. So with this, there are two things you can do. If you know that actually you're generally always dysregulated or you're always in a stress, it's just your standard, you don't sleep well, you're always anxious, then I'm going to really suggest that you start to dive into nervous system programs. These will take about a month or more. You can do it at home. There's many online you can find. You can find a therapist to work with you too. And they're going to be very gentle movements, usually 10 minutes a day. This, I think, we can prioritize. So you move your body gently to get rid of the trapped survival energy that makes you stress. And you will see literally your body shape change, your face will change, your energy will change. But let's say you're actually pretty calm. You don't really get stressed. You sleep well. You're all good. What happens in those moments when you do get dysregulated? Because that is bound to happen. You meet somebody you feel uncomfortable with, you have a big meeting, someone says something you don't like. Here is where we can look at science. You can actually do just one single thing. Stand properly with presence, chest open, shoulders relaxed. And as you stand with a relaxed posture, making sure it's relaxed, this has been found to increase your attractiveness twofold just by standing like this. And it turns out the people also felt more attractive, more comfortable, and more confident. Even more, they found that when there were interviewees going in for an interview, they had these interviewees stand in two different poses: high pose, high power, or low power pose. The high power pose looked like this. And one of them was like this for 2 minutes. The low power pose was like this. The curled back. Just 2 minutes. And the ones who were interviewing these interviewees didn't know. They consistently rated those who just stood in a high power pose for 2 minutes as better candidates and recommended them onwards. And that was all that was different. The resumes were the same. Just by standing differently, because your nervous system is picking up information. Oh, we're safe, we're good. And different traits can come out. This is just your body, your stance. This is not cosmetic. This is physiological. This is deeply human. So already we can see how powerful that is. But in today's day and time, we actually have to still talk about stress. It's not very exciting, I know. But I know that you may not realize men and women today are significantly, and in some populations, 20 times more stressed than women 20 years ago. Men are also more stressed than men 20 years ago. So something is happening in our environment, in our community, in our culture. Without going into that, we can see that when you're stressed, your sleep is affected. As I mentioned, if your sleep is affected, your hormones are affected, which means you're likely to eat not very good food for you. You're likely to be more emotionally reactive and more impulsive. And you will definitely, and maybe you've all had this, where you look in the mirror after you didn't sleep well, you do not feel good. You don't really feel like you look good. And so we know that you have had that experience. But we also know from science, showing a face of someone who slept well versus someone who didn't, everybody rated the one who slept well significantly more attractive, more confident. Even more, if we look at just the cortisol levels, they don't even know if they slept well or not. And we showed faces of women who had low cortisol, which means low stress, And women who had high cortisol, high stress, consistently, those who had low stress were rated as more attractive. So you really want to look at increasing and enhancing your inner beauty and outer beauty, you will have to look at the levels of stress you have in your life. And the reality is, this means maybe a life change. We see this a lot with our clients who come in for burnout. They come in because they're burned out, but they're still functioning, but they're burned out. They can't feel happy. They're successful, they have a family, and yet they don't sleep well. They have a hard time finding joy. They're like on a hamster wheel. And so here, we cannot actually properly help this client unless they're willing to make life changes. Because we cannot get rid of stress. That's not possible by being alive. We can only reduce it. And you may want to look at the relationships in your lives. You may want to look at what you're eating, because food will reduce stress and inflammation. You may want to look at the activities you have. All of this will matter. Or you may want to find better ways to manage your stress. This can be such as these meditations, other wellness practices, spiritual practices as well. Some of them will incorporate stress-reducing elements. Now, it turns out that there's another element from my work that I've discovered before understanding the science that affects you perceiving beauty. I had this client come in. It was 7 years ago. She is stunning, objectively. You and I would all agree here that this woman is beautiful and stunning. Not everybody would be attracted to her, but we would all agree that she's very attractive. Proportions, hair, skin. She's a model, a celebrity, and an influencer. She already had over 5 million followers 7 years ago on her Instagram. And she came in, and I always ask my clients, please bring in 1 to 3 topics that you want to work on. And she brought in 5. She said, you know what, I want to get all of them done. I said, let's see. Rate in the order of importance what you want to look at today. Her number 1 topic she wanted to look at, I want to feel beautiful. Now, of course, you and I would sit here and say, but you're beautiful. But it didn't matter. She was getting jobs. She was already wealthy and popular because of her beauty, and yet she didn't feel it. So we dived into the session, and in the sessions we carry out at Maja Healing, we look for the root cause. Why doesn't she feel beautiful, even though she is, in every single way, pretty much perfect? She found herself at the age of 7 years old, 8 years old, in an event in which there was a lot of competition. And in her country, beauty is very valued. In fact, it's one of the defining factors of what makes you important as a woman. And so she was around her friends, and the friends were very beautiful, and her parents unknowingly kept on saying, you need to be more beautiful. We need to fix your hair. You need to lose more weight. Now, you may be like, how is she going to be affected by that? She's only 7. All these messages in the state of alpha, theta brainwaves, which you are still in when you're underneath the age of 7 years old, become programs. Or you may be like, that's terrible. How come the parents didn't bring her up better? Most of us don't realize this will affect us later on. So we release the shame, the rejection. We release the loneliness. We release the feeling of failure for not being beautiful enough. That I'm not worthy as I am. I got to do more. We kept in touch for 5 years. She never had that problem again. This actually changed her radiance. And it wasn't me that noticed it. It was her friends that told her that she actually feels different, looks different. And we hear this a lot. And it's amazing to hear the feedback from the partners of our clients saying that she's changed, he's changed, and they just feel happier or better. Now, this is not about hypnotherapy. This is about how we perceive reality, that we're not objective. So I dived in and I said, okay, well, how is it that she's so beautiful and doesn't feel it? It turns out that in your brain, you have something called the reticular activating system. It's a set of neurons. And it's there to filter the messages coming in. that they have to match your belief. So if I say, hey, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're smart, but you do not have that belief, the reticular activating system will not open. It's like a gatekeeper. But if you have that belief that I'm a good person, and I say, hey, you're such a good person, it will open, message will come in, and you'll feel good. This is great news. So it means that you're not trapped in your past. You're not trapped in your past pains and worries and failures, that there are options for you to release those and change your filter. You literally change the mirror itself. There's one more thing that actually deeply impacts your mirror. Do you know that if you were born in the Renaissance period as a woman, soft, larger, fuller bodies would be the standard? Then, in around, let's say, 1920s, it was flat-chested, slim, boyish looks that were the standard for women. And then in the 1990s, as a woman, the standard, it was thinness, emotional detachment. Today, we see two different bodies growing: hyper enhancement of body parts and body neutrality. These are today's standards. So if you were born in a different time, you'd be trying to look in the mirror and align to a different set of ideals. Never mind time periods, look at the country you're in. In the US or Western countries, the slim but hourglass shape is preferred. In Asian countries, the petite, or East Asian countries, the petite and slim body is preferred. And in Latin American, African countries, the curvier, fuller bodies are preferred. So we're sitting here in Indonesia, where we have discussions or judgments or labels about people's noses, skin colors, and these are just cultural. So I'm going to ask you, what is actually influencing your standard of beauty when you look in the mirror? Considering that there are so many different perspectives in the world and in history. And I want to invite you to really release those ideals in the country and in the time period you're in, and simply honor your body, the type and the shape that you have. That is way more intelligent than the cultural standards that are set at this time. These elements, good news is that they can all be changed. Here are some options. Subconscious programming. We talked about this just now in one of the client cases I had. In the subconscious programming, which by the way, is supported by science, there's plenty of data supporting that, we can actually rewire your mind and your brain as well. And we can release emotions that literally change your self-image. This is not just about thinking positive. It's actually about creating a whole new identity of what you see in the reflection. We also have nervous system regulation. I mentioned that you can take online programs or work with someone, and I cannot insist or push this enough. This will change your life. We also can go about this by somatic breath work or somatic body work. What is somatic? It's using your body to release trapped energy, because your body holds all this memory, holds all this energy, and you don't even realize it. But you know when you wake up feeling heavy one day, and you just keep on feeling heavy the next day, what is happening is that your body, mind, or energy, you can actually use your body to go in and release that energy. And then you just feel better. You may not know where it came from, but you will feel better and lighter. And you can actually also work on your inner language shift. So let's say you are completely regulated all the time. Not possible, but let's just say you are. And you actually have great emotional regulation. But if you keep on telling yourself internally, every time you look at the mirror, I can be more beautiful. Oh, I should lose more weight. I'm not feeling confident. I need to do more. This will continue the mental monologue that's going on. And so you will reach a glass ceiling. So even if you do subconscious reprogramming, even if you do nervous system reset and you live a very low stress life, you still got to change the inner dialogue. How can you do this? You can actually, and this is something that is used in a lot of different healing modalities, I'm going to invite you to go stand in front of a mirror and actually look at yourself with relaxation, regulated nervous system, no aggression, no tension. Now I'll invite you to look at yourself in the mirror and steadily repeat over and over and over the sentence that you would like to anchor in to your new identity. It can be as simple as I feel beautiful. I feel safe in who I am. I'm worthy as I am. Because inner beauty is actually about worth, your worth. When you have high sense of worth and value, this really is felt by other people, and your worth is something that nothing else can touch. So you change the internal dialogue and prioritizing your wellness and your well-being. Of course, it's hard to say that if you're a mother, if you're also providing for your family as a father, or you have many other responsibilities. But most of the time, when we sit with our clients and we look at what's happening in their life, we can definitely find many things that they don't need to take on that they're taking on. Why? Because when you're stressed out, you have less ability to say no. Your boundaries are not very strong. And you're running on this anxiety, yes, let's just get it done mentality. So we can actually see many things that you don't even need to take on that's creating more stress. So please, prioritize your well-being. It turns out it's not selfish. If you take care of yourself properly, you actually are able to have better relationships with those around you. So for the others, you should be prioritizing yourself too. And lastly, really investing in very high quality, healthy relationships. This is so important. Who you're around really affects your well-being, your happiness, your worth. There's so much science to support this. And so with that, I would like to leave you with this. Looking beautiful and feeling beautiful are very different things. You can actually only go so far with outer beauty. But with inner beauty, it's limitless. So while it may be easy to focus on the external, I will always invite you to go deeper into all the different traits we talked about and to invest into your inner beauty, because everything in your life will become more enjoyable. Everything. And so today, I gently invite you to invest more time into your inner beauty until you can actually embody beauty as a state. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kartika Alexandra. Wow, from Maja Healing, a hypnotherapist as well. So we have to realize that we have the inner beauty, and beauty comes within ourselves is very important, right? So yes, ada pertanyaan kah? So if you have any questions, probably you have something that you're curious about related to inner beauty, you can just raise your hands and ask questions to
Any
Kartika.
questions?
Any questions? Any question, not just limitly for women, but for men, you are also welcome. If you have any questions, probably representing your friends, your families as well. Any questions? All right, sebelah kanan ada.
I'm really interested what you said is feeling beauty and look beauty is something different. But sometimes we feel beauty, but others is not. So how we react or how we kind of like reject that the bad vibes or bad apa ya influence towards us. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Great question. So, is it correct that the question was, other people may not find you beautiful, but you find yourself beautiful, and how do we manage that? Is that right? So, this is exactly where inner beauty comes in, because we can see that other people's perspective of beauty is so subjective. In the ability for us to be resilient, we have to know that if this is who we are, there are many contingencies in our life that can help us feel beautiful or worthy or valuable. So much so that we want to work at increasing all these different contingencies So if one falls down, it doesn't affect us so much. For example, if you're very good at something, like let's just say in your spiritual sector, your social sector, your financial sector, when someone says you're beautiful, you're not, it actually doesn't really affect you. But if you invest all your energy and time into being beautiful and only beautiful, and someone says, hey, you're not beautiful, this will destroy that one pillar and you will not feel very good. So the comments we cannot avoid. But the strength of all the different pillars that protect us, that buffer us, will help to protect when other people say certain things. Number two, your inner confidence, your self-worth. This is something that no matter how many times it appears, when you have that high sense of self-worth and value, which we discussed a bit here, it really doesn't faze you because compassion, empathy kicks in. It's not about me, it's actually about them. That's a key thing that changes when we're in a regulated state. These comments, they're not personal. This is actually about them. Does that make sense? Is that okay? Yeah.
Wow, thank you for the questions and excellent answers. And why is it very important, or is it affecting our quality of life when we feel beautiful? How does it affecting our relationship? Will it improve our relationship, our quality of life as well?
Yeah. When you feel beautiful, and I mean beautiful in the sense of confidence and value and all that, it changes really everything. I'm sure you have seen beautiful people who don't emit the beauty. And you've seen what maybe you would say is not a very beautiful person, but my God, their energy is strong. And you look at them, their charisma. This determines a lot how people relate to us. So everything in your life changes. Also, how you show up and talk, like these moments, maybe how you respond to stresses. We have to still probably look at the different studies that show exactly that. But from our work at Maja Healing, I would say yes, it improves everything in life.
All right, thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause for
Thank you.
Kartika Alexandra from Maja Healing.